that were there, and I got to one man's name. Oh my goodness, she just let out a big old huff and a sigh and exhaled, rolled her eyes, and then said, well, he just chased every skirt in Roanoke. And I thought to myself, well, that certainly wasn't my impression of that particular gentleman. And but she just went on a little tirade about that. And so I kind of made my way on back to my office. Well, I found that any time I was around her or interacted with her, and any time that this man happened to have come through the hospice office doing his volunteer work or whatever, she had to give me an earful, and you would have thought that he was just a gigolo of Brandon Oaks. And so I had listened to that for about 3 or 4 months, and so the director of social work, her office was right next to mine. And so anyway, I went into her office one day, we were talking about something, and I said, oh, Karen, by the way, I said, the office volunteer, and I mentioned her name, I said, every time I bring up and I mention his name, I said, she just goes into this kind of, and I said, it's really not healthy to have that, being conversed about in the office. I said, other people are walking by and all this kind of stuff. So she grinned, and she went over and she shut her office door, and she said, Nelson, her problem isn't that he's out there dating. It's that he's not dating her. So sometimes, when folks are relentlessly, even maliciously, even vindictively critical, we might pause and think, before we react, so we can respond, that's more of a reflection about something that's going on in their life. A need, a jealousy, a regret, and not a reflection about you or about me. Let's pray together. Father God, we've all got critics, and we know we got critics because we all woke up this morning. And Lord, we thank you for those folks that are in our lives that give us criticism and feedback that is accurate and helpful and help us to be able to listen to that and to grow from that, just as Peter did from what Paul said to him. And it made all the difference in his ministry. It made all the difference in his ministry that he was able to hear that, not react to it, but respond to it and grow from it. And Lord, there are those occasions, those moments in our lives when somebody might give us some criticism or feedback that isn't quite accurate, but when we can share with them the broader context, tell them the real story, it becomes a teachable moment for them. Just like those Jewish Christians that Peter encountered, that's recorded for us in Acts 11. They didn't know what you were doing and how your Spirit was being poured out on the Gentiles. And so we're thankful that Peter didn't react to that, didn't get defensive, didn't go on the counterattack, but that he responded to it and brought them into the loop, that it becomes a teachable moment for them. And then, Lord, there are those that are just vindictive and relentless and malicious. Lord, we just ask that when those reactive juices in us get going, that your Spirit can just tamp that down, and so that we can use that as an opportunity to practice grace, knowing that many times what they're saying isn't about us. It's about something going on within them. A wound that hasn't healed. A regret. An anger. And Lord, what they need is not our counterattack. They need for us to be instruments of your grace. Of your grace. And so help us to do that today. For it's in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen.